to another exciting season of Quick Review Thursday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with
A Presenza, otherwise known as the Moo Cow. Moo.
And we watched a movie that I picked because I bought it because I remembered really liking it. And then we just rewatched it. Well, I rewatched it. He'd never seen it. This is not his typical type of movie. But we watched Shredder. And Shredder is distributed by MGM. It's directed by a guy named Greg Hewson.
Boo!
And written by Greg Hewson.
Boo!
And Craig Carlson.
Boo!
And it is a 2003 slasher film. And I'm gonna read the back of the box real quick because this is ridiculous of the back of the box. All right. So, horror hits the slopes in this sexy slasher film about a gang of snowboarders on a one-way chair lift to terror, featuring hot young stars, killer sequences, and snowboarding sequences to die, or suspense and snowboarding sequences to die for. Shredder is an ice-cold, rip-roaring scare fest that takes terror to a whole new altitude. When 7 hot-blooded co-eds break into an abandoned ski lodge, the stage is set for a wild weekend of hot partying and heavy powder. But when the bodies start turning up, they begin to suspect they're not alone. Stalked by a psychotic skier, the gang soon discovers that on the slopes, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah, none of that is true.
So
none of it.
Yes. So let's talk about this movie real quick.
This movie's hot garbage.
Hot bloody garbage. So the film stars Scott Weiner, who you may know from a little TV show called Full House. And then also has Lindsay McKeon, who is better known in freaking Saved by the Bell, the new class. What are you doing?
Suffering.
Oh, yeah, like she did. She kind of was like that at one point. And also stars, let's see, Holly Town played Robin. Let's see, was it Pike was played by Jaleel Whitehall.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her either.
Never saw her again.
Maybe she's in stuff we just don't know. Billy O. Played Skyler. That was the guy you loved.
Who was he?
He was the camera guy.
Oh my God.
Then Kirk was the other stoner guy, and that was played by Peter Riggs. And Christoph, or Chris was his real name, I guess, and stuff. So
they called him Christian first.
I think they did, yeah.
Yes, they did.
And then,
because this is a movie that gets its details right.
So Snowblower Driver was played by Drake Smith. You kind of see him, and then later it's Shelley as the snow, whatever. So it tries to trick you a lot to make you wonder who the killer is and what are they doing, and death to snowboarders.
We guessed it long before the midway point.
I know. It was very obvious, but it kind of pissed me off that it was the chick. Because there's just no way the chick could have done a lot of that stuff.
Spoiler!
The spoiler's going to be in this fucking thing.
You can't spoil a movie this lousy. I mean, you just can't.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you're hopefully not going to watch it. But if you do see it, please let us know what you think.
Yeah, unless you have seen it. The intelligence of a dead clam, you're going to figure this out. I mean, it's not hard at all.
Yeah.
It's like every other slasher movie ever made, except with skiers versus snowboarders, and that's it.
That's it. That's really the only difference. Candace Moon played Shelley, and I liked her. I thought, as the normal character, she was kind of flirty and funny, and, she was cute. You know what I mean? But then it got ridiculous.
But that's the blonde chick who just shows up for a little bit.
And then keeps showing up for a little bit at a time, and then she turns out to be the killer.
I mean, she wasn't really around long enough. That's the other problem. The one who's supposed to be the killer, she's only there for I don't even think she gets 10 minutes of screen time if you add it all up.
But you knew it was her because
she knew it was her.
She was she's adamant that she hates snowboarding from the very beginning.
And there's nobody else.
Yeah. And you would think that they were trying to make it pin it on the father, right?
So who gets their head chopped off?
We don't know. I don't know. Like
Plot
some
hole.
random person that was maybe skiing at that same time. That's the only thing we could think of because they're, you never see who it was, which kind of pisses me off.
And it happened to be dressed exactly like them, and it's chasing the other guy, Cole.
Yeah. So what? Like what?
Sloppy.
Yeah, it was just bad. I don't know how they would explain that. Like who the fucking,
Well, it's like drive-in theater. They don't care to explain because nobody's gonna pay attention. They just want to see the boobs and the ski stuff.
Yeah,
and there was some boobs, and
there was
they
a
were
little
nice.
bit of boobs. Thank you, Holly.
Yes.
Um.
Thank you for giving us one of the movie's few bright spots.
Yeah, but even that just didn't really do anything for me because
And it's a shame because her character spends the rest of the movie being dragged along the ski thing.
you like
bumping
that
into
though.
shit.
You like that though.
It
like,
was funny.
it was, and the funniest part you thought was when they were all like turned and talking to each other, and you could just see it
I
going.
think it was clump. I don't know if that was supposed to be funny or not, but I thought it was funny.
It cracked you up, so at least that happened.
Yeah.
There was some bright spots in this, like,
but it's
pretty.
it's kind of undermines the movie. It's supposed to be a scary, thrilling movie, but it's not.
So the biggest thing about this movie that it's got going for it is it's the time period thing. It was made in 2003, and that was about the time that there were a lot of slashers coming out, like left and right. That's what studios were paying for. They wanted, like, they were just still doing very well. Like 2002 had Final Stab. I always bring this up. Final Stab was a David Dakota movie. Guy in a mask going around killing people.
And they're almost all terrible.
And I like them. They're my subgenre. There's a subgenre I got into horror with, so I always like them. The problem is after Scream got made, it's hard to make another movie like it because then you are sort of, you're kind of doing against the rules,
well,
right?
It's easy to make a movie just like it right after that. It's just hard to make one that is
That's
any
good. Yeah. So it's easier to make one like that because you're just.
And I'll be honest, I didn't like Scream or any of the other ones. I thought that was an earlier ripoff of other earlier movies.
Well, that was no.
And
It's
I know that was
like
the point, but
it
still.
wasn't. People keep saying it's a parody. It's not a parody, or a spoof. But it's a Scary Movie was a spoof. But this was sort of a, like, I don't know. It was a comedy version of those movies and stuff. It had comedy in it a lot.
Ski Wolf was a comedy movie.
This did not have a lot of comedy in it, which
unintentionals. There was some.
There was some unintentional, and there might have been some lines we laughed.
We
at.
laughed at a couple of things.
Yeah, but some of them were intentional and some of them were not. And stuff that we laughed at.
Shelley's death, for example.
Yeah. So I honestly, and the only other problem is like, the beginning of the movie, it seemed like, and even the cover and everything shows it to be like Scott Weiner and Lindsay McKeon. Lindsay McKeon's character is not the main girl. It turns out to be Pike as the main girl. She's the final girl in this movie.
Whom they think is gay because her name rhymes with Dyke.
Yeah. Isn't
that funny?
Very, very chauvinistic stuff that definitely, and sexist stuff that definitely wouldn't have been made these days. And like, bravo, trying to have it be a woman killer. Problem with it is a lot of times I just don't buy all the, if you look back at all the things that she did, I don't, that girl was tiny. There's just no way she could have thrown all those people and did all those things that she did.
Dumb.
Like, it made me,
Well,
it would have been cooler had they gone the Scream route and had it be two killers.
Well, it would have been cooler if they had gone more like the Friday the 13th route, where it's something supernatural. That makes a little bit more sense.
That's Friday the 13th too. Friday the 13th 1 was not supernatural at all.
Right, no.
But
it makes a little bit more sense because then, okay, some small girl, because she's haunted or possessed or whatever. But the thing is that these movies, the one convention that always seems to be in most of these films is obnoxious teenagers get what they deserve.
Right.
I hate that. I hate having to have to put up with obnoxious killers or obnoxious teenagers only for them to be slowly killed off. I don't want to spend 5 minutes with these people, much less an hour and a half. It's not
Right.
worth it. It's not worth the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it. You hate hot girls getting killed. So
In general.
So like when they get killed in these movies, and that's like the point.
Or at least make them sympathetic characters.
Oh yeah,
well-rounded characters.
that was the other thing I
People
hated
we
about.
root for.
Was it Lindsay McKeon's character? She's just a slutty bitch, but she did have the best line in the movie, which is when she's dying, she says, "I never loved you," and I thought, "Ouch." Which is sort of like a fuck you at the end of the whole thing, but
Somewhat unlikely too. You would think.
yeah, like I don't think her last words would be like that, but whatever, it was funny, it made me laugh, so it made me chuckle. I don't know, the whole movie itself was just pretty sad, and I don't know if these guys had gone on and made something else after this once again.
Let's hope not.
Or this. No, I'm one of those people that love when people like redeem themselves with their second movie or something, So hopefully they've gone on and they realized, no, I'm not saying it needs a sequel. I'm definitely, and I usually like slasher sequels, like I'm always for it. If it's a slasher franchise, I'm down. I'm gonna watch it. But this did not need all that. No. This is good as itself, like just one movie.
And I never even heard of this movie. I mean, I usually hear them just enough to know to stay away from, but I never even heard of this one. So.
Yeah, I was excited. I wanted to do a movie. I was gonna have this for Indie Film Cafe. I'm glad we didn't do that. But I was wanting it for the winter, and since it's March, still technically winter, it'll work. In my opinion.
And that's the other thing I dislike is that clearly this is made, like you said, at a time when slashers were popular. So it's the whole feeling of we don't really care how good it is. We're just going to throw up anything and just, it's a slasher, but it's a slasher with snowboards. But you could have put a little more thought into just the plot, into the characters. You could have made more effort into making a better film. Most of the problems with it are easily solved. You just didn't care, and that makes me not want to like the movie at all.
Also, apparently the car got messed up or something, but like
Crashed.
No, before then. I'm talking about in the beginning because they said we don't have our car doesn't work and blah blah blah, and I'm like, wait, when did that happen? Like I don't remember them coming out and like seeing that the car was wrecked or something or messed up or somebody had fucked with something. Well, you gotta have scenes like that because
the chick did. I mean, they came out at one point and that because remember then they had to go back and fix it.
Well, no, but I'm talking about before then because all I kept thinking about was get in your fucking car and leave. Like earlier, once they realized that there was a killer out there, get in your car and leave. Go to the cops, go to the hospital, do something.
The extremely realistic sheriff was there to help.
And for a little bit until he died.
Yeah.
You said that would be normally your part. That would be the only part you'd want to play.
Yeah.
And then you were like, wait, why is he back?
Yeah.
Why is he still there?
You served your purpose. Why are you there?
To be murdered. So that they can make the joke of, Frosty the Sheriff Snowman.
Oh, that was the joke. That's what you brought him back for. Awful.
So that they could put him into a snowman. Which... how the fuck does a sheriff like that fit in that small of a snowman? Like, I can understand his hand coming out, but like, his whole body wasn't... I didn't know.
What's worse is that the most obnoxious, horrible character in the entire film lasted towards the end.
Yeah.
That stupid camera boy. Just, ugh, awful.
Yeah.
And they gave him so many lines. It's like, shut up.
He just kept talking, yeah. I almost felt like they didn't give him any lines, and they just said, keep talking and keep doing your thing, and he did it. Because he just kept going and going and going. And I was like,
Billy
good God.
O?
Billy O. I don't know if he's, like, he might have done other stuff after this,
Or maybe he had a real name and he just didn't want to use it for this one.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what anybody here, other than I know Scott Weiner and I know Lindsay McKeon. I've heard of Candace Moon's name before. Hollytown, I feel like I've known, but I might have known somebody closer to that name or something.
Yeah, I didn't know any of these people.
The rest of the people, I have no idea who they were, nor do I really care.
You said they were in like these minor TV things.
Well, like I said, Scott Weiner and Lindsay McCann were. They were like, Lindsay was in Saved by the Bell, the new class, and and then actually it's technically 3 because Saved by the Bell started with Good Morning Miss Bliss. Don't ask me how I know this because that's my jam. That's what I grew up on. So I grew up on Lindsay McCann, so that's probably why I watched it to begin with. And seeing her almost naked and like seeing half like side boob. So
you're saying that this show had like more than one season?
Saved by the Bell, the new class. I think it had like 4, or no, 2 or 4, something like that. I had a few, you know. And Screech came back, you know, for it. So anyway, and then Full House with Scott Weiner. I grew up on Full House, and rest in peace, Bob Saget. He was also in Aladdin. So I grew up, like, Aladdin was I was like a kid when Aladdin came out.
So you're talking about Aladdin, the animated movie?
Yeah, the Disney movie.
So he was a voice or something?
He was the voice of Aladdin. Oh. Yeah. Then he made this movie afterwards.
That tracks.
Career didn't go out there like that. But he came back for Fuller House.
So they made this wholesome TV crap, and now this was their chance to get all more PG-13.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say this is R, even though this is R.
R.
Yeah, but this was I don't know, it wasn't terrible. Could have been worse.
It was bad.
It was bad, but could have been worse. You know.
It could have been.
Yeah, I was kind of happy that, like, it all got tied up. Oh, and for this season, we're gonna bring in Stinkometer. So. Get ready for that right now.
Go.
Explain to everybody what the Stinkometer is.
It's the way we rate our films 1 to 10, where a low score means there's not much stink at all, and a high score means it's full of shit. So there you go. And then we count up our scores. But we need a third score if it's going to get on
we're going to have to get somebody
we're going to have to make somebody else watch this turkey.
Yep.
I don't know who you're going to torment with this.
I'll find somebody.
Oh Lord.
I'll do it and make it. I'll make sure you're not watching it with us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh. Bad. So, in that case, we could score it and put it into the ladder stink with all the other movies that we've been scoring.
Yep.
And I'm afraid this will get a pretty high number from me.
What's it gonna get?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad.
I was gonna give it. I was between a 7 and an 8, so I guess 7.5. It's not like the reason why I'm saying 9. It's not stinky like as in like production value, because you've talked about this before. When movies are stinky, like you can't see them, you can't hear them, you can't understand. We can understand everything everybody was saying. We could see everything.
Even the acting wasn't bad.
It didn't make any sense that we could see them. Like, why are they in this like bright, like, you know what I mean, areas or whatever?
Right.
But acting wasn't bad. I mean, the guy that talked too much was a little obnoxious, but that was his character. A lot of these people, they were playing their parts well.
The score for me is because the movie is entirely brainless. Entirely.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because I can't hate the movie for what it is. All I can say is it's just not something I want to keep watching, like I bought it because I hadn't seen it in forever, and now that I've seen it, it's more like remember 8 Days a Week. I hadn't seen that movie in a while. Rewatched it, I was like, oh god, why did I like this movie?
Are you saying you're not going to get the Blu-ray or the 4K or the 8K or
I actually would probably get a Blu-ray of this if they came out with one.
There you go, guys.
Just for collector's
purposes.
Put
it out on Blu-ray. This guy will buy it.
I will buy it, collector's purposes. I don't hate this movie or anything. Once again, for slashers, it's okay. It's meh.
Yeah, that's just it. I can't hate it because of that. Because, like I said, this is like pretty much every other slasher movie I've ever seen. So.
But it's not that great, So yeah, it deserves sort of a higher rating, but not for stinky greatness, but
you love slashers.
I love slashers.
It makes sense that you would score this lower.
Yeah, I mean, if it weren't so ridiculous at times, I would have probably gave it a lower score, or whatever. I would have liked it more, but it was just too ridiculous.
Where are you from? I'm from Europe.
Yes, we forgot that line. That cracked us up because we're like,
Where
nobody
specifically?
says that.
I don't know.
No, nobody says I'm from Europe. I'm from U.S.
I'm from North America.
I'm from North America. What part of North America?
Oh,
yeah, North America? The big ass country? You know of it?
Ah, Moody, you're tearing me apart.
You said Tommy Wiseau should have played that role.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Hey, he was prime at that time.
There you go.
He would have probably done a great job.
The ski room.
And he would have showed his butt like that guy did.
Yep.
So there you go.
That was the reason he was hired. To be walk around with no shirt on and show his butt.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so anyway, that movie, once again, it wasn't we were saying boo a few times, but it just wasn't. It should have been better than it was. Honestly, I wish it had been better, but it wasn't. And all in all, I would say if you're into slasher movies, ones that are just sort of man, you know what I mean? Like you don't want something that's gonna blow your mind. Watch this movie. I mean,
yeah, if you have time to kill and you're not looking to actually think
no pun intended.
about anything at all, sure, put it on. Why not? It's not that different than taking a brick and hitting yourself in the head repeatedly for an hour and a half.
Yep.
About the same.
And the beautiful thing is this comes with this, and we will be putting it on our wall of somewhere on our walls. So it'll be up there for people to see.
There you go.
Because we want to promote these things. Even if we don't like it, we say we promote them because people put their heart and soul into their movies.
Clearly.
And you know what? We may not dig it, but somebody might.
Somebody might.
So there you go. It was made for somebody.
All right.
Thank you guys for checking this out.
Thanks.
Join us in 2 weeks for this guy's episode of Quick Review Thursday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Move these over here. It looks a little crooked, doesn't it?
Little.
Okay, there we go. Does that look better?
No. Worse.
Worse? I think worse. Don't do that. Don't. I know. You're not happy. Alright. That should be good.
We
Right?
should do one review with our bags over our heads.
We did that sort of thing. Alright, we did the mask. Alright.
Shredder Part 2. The cheese shredder.